Hi there everyone, and welcome back to Japan. It's race number 10 of the GTCC 602 Championship. We had a rather strange race last week at Nords, with the entire field of competitors running out of fuel on the final lap. Fortunately, we decided to run a fuel saver lap which gave us the victory. Here are the championship standings so far.
We have a relatively safe lead at 179 points. Mikey Doble, however, is not far behind with 158. But there is still a long way to go in this championship. And we all know that anything can happen out there on track. Now, let's check out the grid for today's race.
Hey there everyone, and welcome back to the GTCC 602. It's race number 10 at Autopolis in Japan. You're looking at the starting grid for today's race. Qualifying positions were determined by the finishing position at the last race, which was the Nürburgring in Germany. So I'm in position number 1 in Toyota Celica, Ashley Sutton in second in the MR2, Jake Hill third in the Honda S2000, Aaron Tyler Smith fourth in the Subaru Impreza Coupe. In fifth position, Rob Huff in the Toyota GR Supra. In sixth position is Tom Ingram in the Porsche 911. Andrew Watson starts in position number 7 in the Porsche Cayman GT4, with Josh Cook behind him in position number 8 in the Honda Civic Type R. Then we have Tom Chilton starting from 9th in the Nissan Skyline GTR V-Spec. In 10th, Daryl DeLeon in the Ford Mustang GT. Chris Smiley starts in 11th in the BMW M2. Then we have Dan Zelos up many places. He's normally right at the back. He finished in 12th position, qualifying for 12th for today's race in the Audi TT. Mikey Doble down many places. He's normally finishes in second position, or he has for every race prior, but now in 13th after a dismal performance last week. Then we have Colin Turkington in 14th in the Nissan Fairlady Z. Daniel Rowbottom in the Volvo V40 starts in 15th position. In 16th we have Nick Halstead driving the Aston Martin V8 Vantage. Adam Morgan in 17th in the Jaguar F-Type. Dan Camish in 18th position in the Nissan GTR Premium. Sam Osborne in position 19 in the Mercedes AMG, and rounding up the back of the field today is Aidan Moffat in the Alfa Romeo Giulia. Right, so let's apply the grid start positions and let's get started with the race. And here we are for the start of the race. We're in position number 1, Ashley Sutton in the red MR2 in second, Jake Hill behind us in the Honda S2000. Aaron Tyler Smith gets a great start in the Subaru, as does the Toyota Supra of Jake Hill. We're coming towards the first turn here, trying to stay on the outside because we want that inside apex. Oh, Rob Huff takes a massive dive down the inside, but we managed to stay in the lead. Ashley Sutton stays in second. We've got a damaged right hand front now because of that coming together with that Supra, and I'm not sure how that is going to affect the handling of the car. It doesn't seem to be creating too much of a problem at this point in time, but as time progresses through the race we'll see if it's affecting the car or not. Big slide into that turn. I'm not sure if that is a result of that damaged right front, but we'll see as we go, trying to get onto the apexes, trying to get onto the curbs and make sure that we use the entire track widthwise. We're doing a good job of staying out front right now. Aaron Tyler Smith still in second in the Toyota MR2 behind us, taking that one a little bit wide, maybe overdoing it, not getting that apex because of the late braking, but we power down towards the next right-hander onto the brakes and we turn in, trying to get those inside wheels onto the apex of the turn, trying to use the accelerator and the brakes as a pair. We get the car, oh my word, we got the car all sideways. Too much acceleration while in the turn, and we got a penalty. We moved over and served it, let it tick away before we got back on the power, and that leaves, oh my word, back over and off the track, losing quite a few places there. Tom Chilton in the R33 in 6th position now in front of us as we get attacked by Jake Hill, who moves into 7th, drops us to position number 8. Jake Hill in the Honda S2000 and Chris Smiley having a look in the M2 as well. So we got onto the power. We had the slipstream on Jake Hill's Honda S2000 and we get past him. Now we're on the slipstream of Tom Chilton's R33 Nissan Skyline, trying to get on the inside here, braking early to make sure we don't run into him through the turn, and a little bit too hard on the brakes. They're getting the back slid out. Adam Morgan in the Jaguar back, it's in the top 10 now from starting quite far back in the field. He's now in position number 7. He's on the back of Tom Chilton's Skyline now. We drift through the corner, taking the car off the track, which is a little bit of a break in the rules, and there we go, we get the penalty because of it. We slow down, trying to get the car out of the race and out as far as possible while we tick away that penalty. And once again we are doing battle with Jake Hill in the Honda S2000, who gets the inside line here, with Chris Smiley taking another look down the inside. Smiley and Hill definitely battling through this series together towards the middle of the pack. But we get the overtake done on Jake Hill, who gets the inside corner again, gets back into 8th position, taking it again from us. But we hopefully will power down the straight and get it. Well, we got Chris Smiley wanting to get through as well on the slipstream of Jake Hill. So will he get past? He does, as we get onto brakes on the inside line, having to slow down the car to make sure we don't drift out wide and get into the inside door of the other drivers. But we back through again. The handling of the Castrol Celica really good, so we were able to hold the turns, but a little bit wide on that one. And Jake Hill is battling with us again. He gets past, but only for a very brief point in amount of time, and we get that position right back. At the moment we are trying to fight off Jake Hill and Chris Smiley, so not even focusing on that Jaguar up front of Adam Morgan. But it seems like we may have got a little bit of space between us and the cars behind. Not a lot, as you can see, but we are now going to try to focus on the guys in front instead of defending. Powering down the straight and hard on the brakes before the turn, getting the car into a slight slide. Tom Chilton has dropped back into 7th position. Andrew Watson in front of him in the Porsche GT4 Cayman. It looks like the Jaguar is making its way right up to the front. He's taken up those 2 positions already. Watson still trying to fight that position back and get in front of the Jaguar, but he's not able to do it right now. As we climb up to the back of Tom Chilton, getting the car into a slide, trying to find a good way through and past the Skyline R33, but we weren't able to do that. Get maybe a little bit too keen trying to get in front of that car, and got the Toyota Celica into a big slide because of our overzealousness. But we're into his slipstream now and onto the back of him. We're going to have to be careful here, braking early, because we don't want to get into the, whoa, maybe a little bit wild into that corner, getting that rear end off into the grass. Dan Camish saying thank you very much, I'll take that position. He's into 8th now and drops us into 9th. The back end of the car seeming to be quite loose at this point, so the tyres should be warmed up by now. We're on lap number 3, so they definitely should be at their optimum temperature at the moment, but we are pushing it quite hard, which is why the car seems to be sliding out. So we try to fight back into the position we held before at position number 8, which we do. Dan Camish dropped into position number 9, and once again we move closer to the back end of the R33 Skyline of Tom Chilton. We're going to try to get the slipstream here behind the car. Everybody trying to slipstream now on the long start-finish straight, which is where you can get an advantage. We seem to be in that slipstream, getting the outside line on Tom Chilton, but we are trying to be quite a lot more careful on the bends, braking earlier than what we normally would to make sure we get the turn clean. And Tom Chilton on the inside, maybe having to brake a little bit earlier to slow down the car enough to keep that apex and not run wide. giving us the opportunity to get past. We held the speed nicely, and now we are up with the front boys, overtaking Ashley Sutton's MR2, and there we go, onto the back of Adam Morgan's Jaguar. Andrew Watson in the Porsche GT4 has been able to get in front of him again, so those two battling it out. Adam Morgan in the Jaguar, slightly to the center of the track, gives us a nice line on the outside there, so we take it. Maybe a little bit too late on the brakes there, quite reactive there, taking it wide, not getting the ideal turn. Adam Morgan still behind. I was expecting him to come past. With that mistake we made into that corner, getting this one a lot more smoothly taken. Looking for a way past the Porsche Cayman at the moment. The FedEx livery on that car really looks good as he chases Rob Huff, trying to find an opening where he can get in front of the Supra. A little bit aggressive by us there, getting into the left-hand door of the Porsche Cayman GT4. We get past, and now we are chasing Rob Huff, but Watson is not going to want to give up that position very easily, as you see him trying to fight back. He's right on our tail. He'll be getting the slipstream now, so whether he can come past here or not is yet to be seen, but we seem to be in the slipstream of the Toyota Supra at the moment, catching him up on the long straight, and we'll hit the brakes nice and early. He's gone wide. We didn't quite get it. Oh, that's another case of us racing the driver and not racing the track. Lost a lot of ground there. Hill right off the track and dropped all the places. He's not even in position in the top 8 anymore after that. We've dropped down to position number 5. A couple of people getting past us after that loss of speed after going off the track. We get Sutton though, but he's not going to want to relinquish that position, and as you can see, he's fighting for it. Gets back into 4th position. We probably do have a little bit of a performance advantage on that car, but Tom Chilton, maybe not. He's who may not have the advantage over that R33 Skyline. He's having a good look down the inside. He almost took the position, but we were able to hold on to it. Not getting the turn as great, getting a slight bump on the left-hand rear, getting the tail slid out very, very slightly. Luckily, Tom Chilton, very, very disciplined. As we get in front of Sutton, he's a little bit too late on the brakes, gets into the back of us, gives us a bit of a tap. We keep going. Fortunately, we didn't get spun off. Mikey Doble, though, has got the quickest lap of the race. He started way down in 13th position. I'm not sure where he is at this point in time. He's not on the leaderboard on the left-hand side of your screen as yet, which means he's somewhere between 9th and 20th position. We are now chasing Andrew Watson again in the FedEx livery Porsche Cayman GT4. We got quite a good exit on to the start-finish straight, so we tried to get that slipstream on the car. Turkington is going into the pits, as you see on the left-hand side of the screen. Only 12% fuel left in the Nissan GTR, the Advan GTR, so he's going to be filling that car up and getting it back out on track as we run side by side with Andrew Watson, trying very, very hard not to get into his sword. Nice and tight on the apex. A little bit of contact between the door handles, but nothing significant. Everybody stays on track. Got that turn slightly wrong, getting the car into a slide. We've got clean air up front now. Only Tom Ingram and Aaron Tyler Smith ahead of us right now. And we seem to be making up a little bit of ground on the Porsche Cayman as we run off the track, getting those tyres dirty. Hopefully we can get them cleaned up without having any excursions off the track. Nice clean turn there this time, knowing that we had the dirty tyres, braking nice and early to compensate. And we are seeming to be making a little bit of a gap on Andrew Watson. Our front tyres though not looking the greatest at the moment. There is still a little bit of life in them, but probably only a quarter left of the tread on that left front. Right front not too bad, but the wear between the front and the back very, very different. The rears hardly got any wear on them at all compared to the fronts, but we do have damage on the front two wheels as well as the front grille as well. So we're watching here as Tom Ingram dives into the pits. We're going to follow him in. He's one of the race leaders, so good idea to go in with one of them. We have got slightly more fuel than the Porsche. As you see, he's got 11%, we've got 16, so the Celica a little better on fuel consumption than the Porsche. As the team jumps into action, getting the tyres on, filling up the fuel tank, and we'll obviously get those repairs done and get those front two wheels aligned and get the aerodynamics sorted out on that front grille again. We come out at the same time as Andrew Watson, maybe slightly ahead of him obviously. As you can see, we are in position number 6, he's behind us in 7th. Sam Osborne gets ahead of us in the Patronus AMG. He's on the back of Adam Morgan in the Jaguar. But we have got a great run out of the corner. Those two V8 cars not running very quickly at this point. I'm not sure why that is. I don't know how they are doing for tyres and fuel. I'm not sure if they've been into the pits already. They may have. Oh, we get the car into a big four-wheel drift around the bend. Held that quite nicely as we power through the long gradual bends. The two V8 cars, the Jaguar and the AMG Mercedes, quite far in the distance behind us as we try to catch up to Tom Ingram in the Porsche 911 GT3 ahead of us. Ashley Sutton in the Toyota MR2 up in 2nd position, with the Subaru WRX of Aaron Tyler Smith currently leading the race. We've got the car into a slide and off into the grass. No penalty this time round from the marshals. Seem to think that there wasn't any foul play involved in that one, so we got away with not having to pay the price on the timer. But we get around the Porsche 911, power through the corners as Aaron Tyler Smith, the race leader currently, goes into the pits. Only 4% left of his fuel in the tank. Sorry, that's Aaron Tyler Smith in the WRX Subaru as the fuel starts going in. Ashley Sutton in front of us in the Toyota MR2 stays out for another lap in the Toyota MR2. As we try to chase him down, we should at this point probably be able to catch him quite easily, because I'm presuming this far into the race and he hasn't pitted, he is going to be having some issues with grip and fuel. Probably more grip than fuel. That car very, very light on its fuel consumption. Powering through the turn. Get that a little bit wrong into another slide as we overtake Ashley Sutton. Now we move into 1st position. Mikey Doble still holding the quickest lap of the race, 203.496. He's still not visible on that leaderboard, so he has set the quickest lap of the race, but hasn't seemed to be able to make enough headway through the pack to be able to get onto that top 8 listing that you see on the left hand side of the screen. Ashley Sutton quite a distance behind us. as we brake for the turn, catch the apex, force the car out wide in order to take the next apex. A nice flowing section of the track this, if you can get it right. And we haven't done it this time around, as we've got the car into a slide. We spin all the way around, and we can hear Ashley Sutton speeding past us. We get back on the power as the others catch up to Aaron Tyler Smith in the Subaru now behind us, and behind him is Tom Ingram in the Porsche 911 GT3. We've lost a significant amount of time. I believe Ashley Sutton will need to go in now. Let's just have a look and see if he does. Yes, he does shift over into pit lane, so he's going to a quick hoot to Ashley Sutton as he jumps into the pits. And we're again in position number 1 with Aaron Tyler Smith behind us in the WRX, Tom Ingram behind him in the Porsche 911. Bit of cloud cover coming in now as it looks a little bit darker. This might affect track temperature and obviously the handling then, because the tyres of the cars does cool down over a certain amount of time, and we drift the car wide, trying to get the car back onto the track using all 4 wheels, that all-wheel drive system, clawing at the mud and grass. Didn't get it quite right quick enough, because Aaron Tyler Smith decides to steal first back from us, and we get back into first position again on the outside. And now he's got to contend with Tom Ingram, who's attacking him in the Porsche 911. And very, very close, almost drifting the car out onto the grass again. Unfortunately, it seemed to brake enough in order to keep the car on track there. Keep the brakes on early enough to not go wide, catching the apex there. Really getting quite used to the performance of this car right now after 10 races already, so getting more and more accustomed to what it can and cannot do. So as you can see this time around, not as many spins off track, not so many collisions with the barriers. Onto the start finish straight, and we power down. Mikey Doble still holding that quickest lap of the race. And we have made a significant gap on the guys behind us. Tyler Smith in second in the Subaru. Tom Ingram is still holding third. We run wide into the grass again, trying to keep the lead. But that Subaru of Aaron Tyler Smith is definitely going to be hauling us in after that mistake. There he is, right behind us. Tom Ingram also definitely still in the fight in the top 3. Those slides definitely not doing us any favors in the grander scheme of things, slowing us down. There's, you can see on the left hand side of your screen in the bottom, the nose of the Subaru creeping in, with Aaron Tyler Smith having a sniff at getting into first position. Onto the brakes, getting it nice and tight that time, while the other two battle it out behind us. Tom Ingram in the Porsche has got ahead of the Subaru. Onto the brakes, into the turn. Try to keep this tidy and mistake free. We'd rather have the two behind us fighting with each other than close enough to battle with us. If they're fighting with each other, all we need to concentrate on is getting our lines right. We don't have to worry about trying to defend the lines and defend our position. That said, Tom Ingram and Aaron Tyler Smith are very, very quick racers, which is why they continuously in the top end of the grid lineups. And as you can see, that Porsche has got some pace. Tom Ingram definitely hauling us in as we approach the turn at the end of the start-finish straight. Onto the power. Chris Smiley going into the pits, as is Colin Turkington and Jake Hill, all going for hards again. See the difference in the fuel consumption of those cars as well. Not all the cars are necessarily equal in their fuel consumptions, not equal in the way they run through tyres, not equal in the way they handle turns and power through straights, so which makes it very, very interesting. But here we come down to the next turn. We have to brake early for this one. It is quite a tight one. Get the back end slightly spun out onto the power, and hopefully we stay in the lead for another lap. The other two still a distance away. Tom Ingram seems to have won the battle with Aaron Tyler Smith. He's leaving a little bit of a gap in between the two of them right now as he tries to chase me down. I'm in position number 1 in the Toyota Celica GT4. Trying to keep it clean and composed, which seems to be working so far. We have had some rather interesting exits off the track, but mostly keeping the race nice and tidy, nice and clean. And we've been running in the front for a number of laps now already. And now I've set the quickest lap of the race as a 2:03.480, eventually beating the quickest lap of Mikey Doble, who is driving the Maserati Gran Turismo S. He's in position number 6 right now. He's started in position number 13, so he is making up places. That said, he probably does need to make another pit stop before the end of the race, and that is definitely going to affect where he finishes up. There he goes into the pits right now. He's got 17% fuel left, only 5.5 minutes left of this race, so he won't need to put in a lot of fuel, so it will be a quick stop for him. But it all depends on how many other people need to go in and how much time they're going to be spending with their pit crews getting tyres changed, fuel topped up, and in the case of any accidents, whether they'll be spending a lot of time doing any repairs, which I don't think is too much of the case today. I've had a few excursions off the track, a bit of a bump from one of the drivers early on in the race. The Toyota Supra came flying through in a dive on the first turn and got into our right hand front. Those repairs obviously have been done in the pit stop, and it didn't seem to make too much of an impact on our time. We were able to still come out in front of the Cayman GT4 when that went into the pits with us. But currently we hold position number 1 with Tom Ingram following in the Porsche 911 GT3. Aaron Tyler Smith still in position number 4. He's driving the Subaru WRX. And Andrew Watson behind him in the Porsche Cayman GT4. So the two Porsches in position 2 and 4, as Tom Ingram in position number 2 in the 911 GT3 goes into the pits. So where are we going to end up with this one? What I did with this race was, when I started seeing that the others were going into pit, I actually decided to sacrifice some power, and I dropped the fuel aspect, or the fuel ratio, down to number 6, which significantly lowers your power but does extend your range. on the car, so we wouldn't have to come in to do a second pit stop. So we will run this race right till the end without coming in for a second pit stop, and hopefully with the drop in power that the car has, but hopefully that doesn't come into play too badly and we can keep the lead. We will obviously sacrifice speed and power, but the time that we will save will probably be a greater advantage than having to come into the pits. The car still quite powerful despite being dropped to fuel map number 6. So I don't think we will have too much of a disadvantage. We do have quite a significant lead at the moment. If we take a quick glance behind us, we can't see any of the other cars as yet, so quite a gap right now. So with the drop in power, we should still be able to finish up the race in first position, hopefully. This will be the final lap. Less than 2 minutes left of the race, and wow, Nick Halstead has put in the quickest time of the race at a 2:01.865. Halstead in position number 4 is the quickest man on the track at this point, and we've only got 1 lap left and we are on it, so less than 1 lap left. Getting the car into a slide despite having the field map dropped to position number 6, so the car still got ample power, but we're on the final lap right now. Halstead drops that time to a 1:57.490, so he's running sub 2s in I believe he's the driver of the Porsche Cayman GT4, so he's really put in a complete flyer there. Our fuel light is blinking, so it is touch and go whether we'll be able to get the car to the finish of the race without running out of fuel. I will try to roll the car through the corners, as you'll see. Not putting the power down in the corners at all. Trying to save as much fuel as possible, but we are coming up to the final turn. Here we are entering the start-finish straight in position number 1. Aaron Tyler Smith miles and miles behind us. There we are for the win. The Toyota Celica GT4 takes another victory in the GTCC 602 Championship. Aaron Tyler Smith in second in the Porsche, then Tom Ingram, then Nick Halstead. In 5th, Ashley Sutton. 6th, Colin Turkington. In 7th, Chris Smiley. And in 8th, Andrew Watson. So we'll run through the entire field of the finishers. It is us in position number 1 in Toyota Celica. Aaron Tyler Smith second in the Impreza Coupe. Tom Ingram third in the 911 GT3. Halstead in 4th in the Aston Martin V8 Vantage. Position 5, Ashley Sutton in the Toyota MR2. In 6th, Colin Turkington in the Fairlady Z. Chris Smiley in 7th in the M2. Andrew Watson in the Cayman GT4 in position number 8. Jake Hill in 9th in the S2000 Honda. Mikey Doble only makes up 3 places in the Gran Turismo S Maserati, finishing in 10th. Adam Morgan in 11th in the Jaguar F-Type. Sam Osborne finishes in 12th in the Mercedes AMG, with Tom Chilton in 13th in the R33 Skyline. In 14th we have Dan Camish in the GTR. Rob Huff finishes in 15th in the Toyota Supra. Josh Cook's Civic Type R finishes up in 16th, with Daryl DeLeon behind him in the Mustang. Aidan Moffat in 18th in the Alpha Julia. Daniel Rowbottom all the way back down to 19th in the Volvo V40, not having a great race. And Dan Zidos once again finishing up right up in the rear, one lap behind in the Audi TT S Coupe. Well, that's it for us for today, guys. So drive safely, take care. We'll see you next time on Le Mans in France. So drive safely, take care. We'll see you on the track.